سلام و هزار درود خدمت شما بیننده های عزیز کانال وحید اوریثینگ. وحید هستم در خدمتتون. همونجور که خبر داشتین و دارین، امروز ساعت نزدیک 4 بعد از ظهر به وقت ایران تلسکوپ جیمزوب پرتاب شد. من حدود نیم ساعت از فرآیند پرتابش رو ضبط کردم از لایو سایت ناسا. یه مقدارش رو کوتاه میکنم که وقت شما خیلی گرفته نشه، خلاصه و مفید در خدمتتون میذارم. این تلسکوپ نزدیک به 30 روز توی راه تا برسه به نقطه لاگرانژ 2 و بعدش هم 6 ماه طول میکشه تا فرآیندهای این که خودش رو باز کنه، تست کنه و آماده رصد بشه هم 6 ماه طول میکشه. نزدیک به 7 ماه دیگه آماده بهره برداری میشه که ما و همه عاشقای نجوم یک دید بازتر و بهتری نسبت به کیهان عظیم داشته باشن. امیدوارم که از دیدنش خوشتون بیاد، دوست داشته باشین و تا جایی که حوصله داشتین تماشا کنین. اولش که پرتاب موشک نشون میده، بعد از طریق انیمیشنی که خودشون درست کردن، چون دوربینی نیست که از اونجا بخواد ازش مستقیم فیلم بگیره و فیلم بفرسته، خودشون با انیمیشن درست کردن که اون تلسکوپ در هر ثانیه تو چه وضعیتی هست و در آخرین وضعیتش که خود محموله تلسکوپ جدا میشه از پرتاب کننده، یه چند ثانیه تصاویر لایو واقعی رو که یه دوربینی هست توی سیستم پرتابش تعبیه شده، یه مقدار چند ثانیه هم براتون به صورت لایو و زنده نشون میده تلسکوپو. امیدوارم خوشتون بیاد و ویدیو رو لایک کنید. سابسکرایب کردنتون خیلی به من انرژی میده. ممنونم. کامنتاتون رو میخونم، برید نگاه کنید.
Once the computer has checked that the Vulcan engine is running normally, and you will see at that point a flame going stable at the outlet of the nozzle, and at that point the onboard computer will ignite the two boosters that will enable to move the 770 tons of Ariane and Webb.
Coming up on the T-minus 4 minute mark right now, just a couple of milestones real quick. At the 1 minute 5 second mark into the flight, Ariane 5 will go through the period of maximum dynamic pressure, max quick oscillations to dampen out, provide the most pristine environment for the James Webb telescope before observatory separation. We're coming up on the 2 minute 50 second mark into the flight. Again, you're going to be hearing critical calls down the stretch here from the DDO, or the Range Operations Manager, Jean-Luc Voyer. The weather is go. We have a green board, no issues being worked. NASA officials, including Greg Robinson on the right, carefully watching the telemetry, looking intently at the final couple of minutes of the countdown. Lives have been spent in the preparation of the James Webb Space Telescope that is about to fly.
And Beatrice Romero on his side on the left of the screen from Iron Space.
And that is the DDO, the Range Operations Manager, Jean-Luc Voyer, as we have hit the 2 minute mark in the countdown.
During the solid rocket boosters phase, that will be the atmospheric part of the flight, the atmospheric flight, and the trajectory will be driven by a to reduce the aerodynamic loads, and we will have a very different exo-atmospheric flight after that.
And you were watching a number of people, VIPs and invited guests, moving out to the observation platform that is right next to the Jupiter Control Center, as we stand by for the 1 minute call from Jean-Luc Voyer.
À tous les vidéos, attention pour moins 1 minute. Hop, à 0 moins 1 minute.
Thumbs up from Jean-Luc Voyer. All systems are go. We're inside a minute now, T-minus 50 seconds and counting. As you heard earlier, the Vulcan 2 engine will ignite. Turbo pumps will come up to flight speed for 7 seconds, and the command will be issued to ignite the solid rocket boosters. The James Webb Space Telescope will be on its way. T-minus 30 seconds and counting. Standing by for terminal count.
À tous de DDO, attention pour les décomptes finales. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, unité, top.
And we have engine start. And liftoff.
Allumage EAP, décollage.
Décollage, liftoff from a tropical rainforest to the edge of time itself. James Webb begins a voyage back to the birth of the universe. Punching a hole through the clouds, 20 seconds into the flight. Good pitch program reported.
Trajectoire est nominale.
Vehicle performance is nominal. The Ariane 5 rocket continues to fly uphill in nominal fashion. The rumble of the powerful Ariane 5 now being felt here in the control center. 3D animation.
We can hear the noise and feel the vibrations here. You're right, Rob. Yeah, impressive.
13 kilometers in altitude, 7 kilometers downrange, traveling about 0.6 kilometers per second.
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
The trajectory reported to be nominal by Jean-Luc Voyer, the range operations manager. You can see at the bottom of your screen, the yellow line is the trajectory plot, perfectly overlaid over the green line, which was the pre-launch trajectory. 1 minute, 41 seconds into the flight, about 40 seconds away from shutdown of the solid rocket boosters. Coming up on the 2-minute mark into the flight.
When it detects the threshold on acceleration, not the deceleration, but less acceleration.
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
Everything is okay. Everything is normal.
2 minutes, 15 seconds into the flight.
When the computer detects this threshold, it will separate.
Séparation des EAP.
Done.
We have confirmation of solid rocket booster separation from Jean-Luc Voyer. This coming at an altitude of 44 miles. The Ariane 5 and James Webb traveling almost 5,000 miles an hour. We have about 1 minute, 5 seconds to go before fairing jettison. That'll be the next critical milestone.
The fairing is there to avoid the satellite being exposed to high temperatures and also high airflows. And as soon as the launcher leaves the atmosphere, as is now the case, the satellite does not need anymore to be protected, and Webb does not need anymore to be protected. So each kilogram being very important for the performance of the launch, we are going to eject this no more useful fairing.
And let's go down to the floor in the Jupiter Control Center to Raphael Chevrier of Arianespace. Raphael, so far so good.
Hi, Rob. So far, so good. Everything is nominal, as we say, when attitude and trajectory of the Ariane 5 is going perfectly well. As you can see also on the yellow line on the screen, we had the confirmation of the separation of the two solid boosters and now of the fairing, meaning that we have crossed the limits of the atmosphere. So everything is going super good. And the DDO just said that all parameters are going perfectly smoothly. So let's continue the mission.
And Raphael, this is a view from the upper stage camera called the Vicky Cam, looking back at the James Webb Space Telescope. This is on about a 20-second delay or so because of the way the imagery is processed here in the control room. There's your telescope ready to unfurl its wings basically and begin its journey to the Lagrange point, the L2 point, about 1 million miles away from Earth.
La trajectoire est nominale.
Trajectory is nominal. The report from Jean-Luc for the day from the Range Operations Manager, Jean-Luc Voyer, as we stand by for main engine shutdown and separation.
Extinction de l'EPC. Opération EPC.
And we have main stage shutdown and separation confirmed here in the Mission Control Center, and the ignition of that upper stage. And Raphael Chevrier down in the fishbowl. So far, so good.
Yes, Rob, we have the confirmation of the separation of the main stage and the ignition of the upper stage. The trajectory is perfectly nominal. This is a very important moment for us because it's always a challenge to switch on a cryogenic engine in space condition, and we are now at 220 kilometers of altitude. Speed is a bit more than 7 kilometers per second. As we enter now the second stage of the second phase of the flight, the upper stage is going to power for about 16 minutes to place Webb on its transfer orbit, and right now everything is again nominal, as the DDO just said.
And a short time from now, the so-called sawtooth maneuver will get underway. Again, like rocking a baby in a cradle, this will be a maneuver to keep Webb's optics protected from overheating, Luce.
Exactly, Rob, like a baby in a cradle. You can see here Webb attached on top of Ariane 5 upper stage with a very specific configuration. Of course, it will be different during its lifetime, but for the time being, its sun shield is folded and not yet fully protecting the observatory. A number of exhaustive studies have been performed by the mission teams in Europe, in the US, on the thermal conditioning inside the telescope and the way the rays of the sun would propagate and interact with sensitive equipment inside the telescope. Maintain this thermal conditioning is really key before separating this telescope. And in particular, we know that one face of the telescope you.